approximately 260 days. It's 9 months. So a multiple of 260 is about gestation. It's about insemination. It's about birth. Okay? 260 centuries, and here we are at the end. It's time to be born, boys and girls. Time to be born. And so the galaxy mother is arising again from the eastern horizon with the baby inside her womb, a sign to us that it's time to take it back. Take it back. Take the earth back. Take our own energy back. And we're doing it. I mean, you know that we're doing it because you know people that are in the business. Some of them don't know anything about Mayan calendar, but it's intuitive. You know, they don't know that this is all about taking the earth back. Taking back the covenant of the earth. Reclaiming that energy that was founded 26,000 years ago, 260 centuries ago. It's a moment of rebirth. We come back to the beginning. Right here. Have I forgotten anything? It's almost done. All right. Well, what I'm going to do is, I'm passing one of these Pactun sheets. I'm going to pass them all around. Rustle, 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 rustle. Okay? Second Pactun. Let's start it over here. Look at it. Oh, civilizations. You know, most people, take a look at it and just pass it around. Most people associate this issue, this problem, pass it around. This problem with civilization, that civilization is part of the symptom of the virus. Maybe, to some extent. Yes, civilization seems to have been a byproduct of the accumulation of wealth, the creation of majestic, monumental art, sculpture, architecture. But you know what? It didn't have to be that way, because there are some civilizations that somehow managed to make it really deep into history without becoming totally infected with the virus. I can give you a couple of examples. Right off the top of my head, the Minoan civilization of Crete. The Minoans of Crete, a Bronze Age people of the 4th sun. These people lived on an island in the Aegean Sea, in the Mediterranean. They managed to develop this incredibly advanced, wonderful civilization. And somehow seemed, and I say seemed because I wasn't there, we can only rely on archaeological evidence, but they seem to have kept a good hold on the commitment between themselves as human beings and Mother Earth. They worship a female spirit, now sometimes called the Mother Goddess, which is usually represented as a woman holding 2 snakes, the snake goddess. And that's an important concept. In many parts of the world, the mother spirit, the earth mother, has always been associated with snakes. And where she was overthrown by these, new guys, what I call the priests of the New Order, usually the iconography is usually of a snake goddess being defeated. You've got mythologies where snake goddesses are turned into monsters, like the goddess Tiamat in Babylonian civilization, who is overcome by the great glorious god Marduk. That happened everywhere. The Babylonians didn't have a monopoly on that. The Aztecs had a similar mythology in which a mother goddess is overthrown by a war god. Her name was Coyolxauhqui. Coyolxauhqui is a goddess that wears snakes on her arms as bracelets, and her legs, and a belt of snakes, and she is killed by the war god Huitzilopochtli, decapitated, and her arms and legs are cut off. And to make sure everybody remembers that, they created this big carving of the goddess Coyolxauhqui, dismembered. It may be in one of these pieces. Okay? So the virus was everywhere. Nobody it was completely immune. You really had to try hard to keep the virus from infecting you. Some people succeeded, most people didn't. It is our turn now. It is our job to eliminate the virus, to create an antivirus that works. And we can do it with the seeds of the ancient ones, who somehow, some of them still maintained the antivirus alive from way back. Also another point, and this is important. So I'm gonna bring this point up. If you will just give me a little bit of attention here. I know I've done a lot of talking, but I'm just gonna ask you for one more point. Something interesting happened during this sun that we're finishing now. Okay? And incredibly enough, it happened right in the center of it. Did I tell you 13 bactoons? Well, you got 6 bactoons of insanity, getting worse and worse and worse. And then, after the 6th bactoon, the 7th bactoon, right in the middle, 400 years of strange stuff. People being born all over the world saying weird stuff that nobody wants to hear. Some guy called Lao Tse establishes a tradition called the Tao. Some other guy called Confucius, talking about compassion, talking about trying to understand your neighbor, trying to talk about don't look down on the other folk. Some guy called Zoroaster saying, do unto others only what you would they do unto you. What's so novel about that? That should be common sense. But it was a big deal when he was saying it. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. These people were all born during the 7th bactoon. It was as if humanity, during the middle part, the very center of this cycle, kind of stopped, took a breath, and the mother started sprouting forth all these great minds. Some guy called Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, was born during that time. He was born a rich man, but he gave it all up because he realized that there was another way back to the connection. And he taught, and his teachings are still around. And they inspired others. They evidently planted some sort of seed. And there were others trying to put that seed, the weeds, like weeds. They were trying to, kill the weeds, but the weeds would not allow themselves to be killed. It was something that, in conjunction with the traditions that came all the way back from the Stone Age, kind of made a good combination and have lived down all to this day. The ancient traditions of the indigenous ones, and then these teachings from these guys and women that were born during the 7th bactoon of our era. It was a good combination, a good match. And now, here we are, perfectly equipped to match them together. The teachings of the ancients that go all the way back to the beginning of time, and the teachings of the teachers of the 7th bactoon. Put them together. Some of us know Buddhism. Some of us know yoga and all the reality that goes with these teachings. These teachings came from that time, from the 7th bactoon. These teachers were there. Combine that with the teachings of the ancients that go all the way back to the beginning, and it's an unbeatable combination. And it's at our fingertips. We have access to it all. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have to know what the time is now. What's the time factor?
10 to 1.
10 to 1?
Yes.
Okay, so this is normally where we deal with questions. So shoot anything that was not clear. I'm trying to make things as clear as possible. So if there was something that that was not clear, that's my fault, and I want to correct it. Yes.
Yeah, we're just finishing off the fifth song.
Correct.